welcome to my channel. My name is Siobhan Bixel, and today we'll be talking about the reset timeline. This is a very interesting, fascinating topic and something that's new to me. Please like and subscribe to my station as I'm just getting started along with the other truth tellers and truth seekers, and I hope you'll join me as well. Let's spread this information. Let's get the veil lifted and open the eyes. Let's scream to each other. Let's wake up. Wake up. We've been lied to about our history. And it's about time we discover where we're really from, what's really going on. Because there's so much evidence to the contrary of the narrative of the historical prose that we've been fed and even spoon-fed from early elementary right through as high as you want to go in the educational system. And it's time to be autodidactic, which means to be self-taught. Don't buy into what you've been fed. Open up your brain and use it. Question the narrative. What's the worst that can happen? You'll find out that there might be a really great civilization and that we came from. Really great. And it might lift our own potential. The hope is for a better world. The hope is for a future for our children. Because at the rate we're going now, things look pretty grim. It looks like we may be in for another reset. And this might be a term that you're not familiar with. It's something I just recently learned about. And it has to do with basically civilization being brought to different crisis times, being built up and destroyed, built up, destroyed, built up, destroyed. And with each reset comes an inferior race of people, it would seem. In fact, this is the exact opposite of what people call evolution. It's the exact opposite. It's saying that, and I'm going to go with this narrative or this belief, is that we're created beings. We were created perfect, with tremendous potential. And what's happened is the potential has slipped. I feel like this light's way too bright. I'm sorry, and I'm trying to make everything great for you guys as watchers, as truth seekers. So I don't want to hurt your eyes. I might need to turn off the light behind me. So if you'll just bear with me just a second, I just glanced over at myself in the monitor and I thought, wow, that's really bright. So let me just go ahead and turn that around. I hate to turn my head away from you, but please bear with me just a moment. I think this is the light that probably don't. Okay, pardon me, guys. See what that's like. That looks a lot better. Sorry for the glare. Again, my name is Siobhan Bixel, truth seeker and information giver, as I find out myself what's going on. All right, so we're going to talk about a timeline. I have been investigating this, and I think that this is a real good place to start. It's certainly there's a lot of questions. I drew up this picture. This is sort of the traditional timeline that I was taught about in school. It may be more like a figure 8, the infinity sign. And this is where I'm going to pick up here, which is having an understanding of a pre-Diluvian race that began with Adam and ended with the flood. Okay, this is the timeline I drew. Obviously, there's a lot of different theories, and I am no expert. If y'all have some insight, then please send it my way. I have a lot of paper and I'll draw more timelines as I discover what's really going on as much as I can. All right, so what I have here is after the flood, and they actually could have been alive before the flood, but what I call the builders, the race of builders, the tunnel builders, the arch builders, the magnificent structures that we call Greco-Roman style, the art that looks beyond anything that I could even dream of doing. And I'm an artist, but this, especially the statues come to mind, the marble statues that look just like people. I mean, just like every vein is in place, everything. And, you know, John Levy always talks about this net, this marble net, which is just amazing and fantastic. And I hope to add these pictures of the art and do a video on art and on architecture. There's so much to cover, but today we're just going to stick with what I have here, the builders. Somewhere along the line there came a fire or a plasma event. Something bad really happened to this earth and everything went on fire. Was it the return of the Lord? I don't know. I never even thought that the rapture might have happened already. And this little time space that the Bible talks about that Satan's given at the end of the time to run amok and deceive, as the Bible says, even the elect. Maybe we're in that time. Would you know? Would we know? It's not against the Bible from what I see. And it could have already happened because there's plenty of evidence about a catastrophic event that destroyed and melted the brick and block so that you can hardly even tell that it even was, but there's certain things about it. You'll see the blocks, you'll see the right angles, you'll see the towers, and you know something more is going on. As I said, that's like a whole nother story. Then somewhere around the time, this antiquatech, as we call it, some technology that we don't understand, probably free electricity, healing centers, stained glass, phenomenal windows that give off frequencies of healing and who knows what these are. Was it a place to pray? Maybe, but not always. Not only, I should say, not only. There was a lot more to this than we're being given the knowledge of. This is the knowledge of life and death. This is the healing of our people. And we need to understand that there's more to our history than we've been told. And we need to find the healing that was given freely to us and taken away. I believe. At some point in time came the flood. At what we call the mud flood, I'm sorry, came the mud flood. Okay, the mud flood. It covered this ancient architecture anywhere between 6 and 20 feet globally. Globally, in every country, in every nation, in every city, there's evidence that mud came in and covered everything up, which means that it also would have covered crops. There must have been a lot of death, destruction, and people hiding in caves, building tunnels and underground places, run into the mountains, and the mountains themselves would fall and melt. I don't know what happened. I don't know when it happened. And I'm probably not even following my own timeline as I speak, because this is theory and I'm no genius, but I'm starting to try to get something together. and I thank y'all for tuning in. Uh, I wrote here another type of a timeline, starting with Adam. Okay, this is a little bit different, and I gathered some of this information. Adam, mankind and creation, somewhere around 4,000 BC, not millions and billions of years ago, but this is not that long ago. This is within reach. I've always believed this. I've never believed that the earth was millions and billions of years old. I just don't. And it might be. But this seems to make more sense, and this seems where I can connect this information to what's in my heart. At some point in time, the Bible teaches that the race that proceeded from Adam mixed with the fallen angels, interbred these godlike creatures, not quite human and not quite an angel, that just were phenomenal. And I believe they built the star forts and the architecture that we see, and just drop our jaw at. Mixed up race. Apparently, were giants. And they made giant structures, arches and bridges and underground tunnels and brickwork, I believe. And maybe this brickwork was mixed with the blood of the Titans. I don't know. Because it's a deep red, and we don't seem to have that type of a brick anymore, from what I've understood. And anyway, at some point, this became an abomination. Maybe there's cannibalism. Who knows what kind of perverse things was going on? I don't. You can just only imagine. And apparently, God just was like, that's enough of that. And sent a great flood. We get the story about Noah. We get the great flood. Maybe this took place about 3000 BC. Could have. Maybe things went as they went for 1,000 years, and then reset. Okay. At some point after the great flood, as the land dried and the survivors survived and repopulated, from these groups came possibly the Phoenicians, the Egyptians, the Grecians, the Romans. And at some point, Jesus came right in the midst of the Roman Empire. There could have been possible resets, possible smaller resets. Maybe I've heard up to 7. Again, that's an area for more research and a whole nother video. I'm just trying to stick with the timeline deal. Okay, so there are accounts from the 1500s, 1600s, 1700s of voyages and travelers who saw amazing things, who made maps, I can't remember the word for map maker, cartologist or something. I'm sorry, it slipped me because I almost said cardiologist, and that's why I kind of stumbled. I was like, no, that's not right. So anyway, there is a lot of historical evidence saying that there were already fortified towns. If you look at some of this old artwork from the so-called Renaissance period, you see in the background what looked like futuristic cities. Out of this world. Antennas. Why did they need them? Because they had electricity, apparently. There's a lot that we weren't taught. At least a lot that I'm believing was hidden from us for various reasons. Probably because prior to this, there was regional kingdoms throughout the world. There were castles. There was uh, contained cities, walled cities, fortified cities and towns. And then after one of these resets, some of these old ancient bloodlines, royal families decided that no, what we're going to have is a global empire. We're going to have nations of slaves who basically work to survive. There's a better way. There has to be a better way. But we have been put in this position where we have to work so hard just to make ends meet. So many people that are my age, and I'm 60, have just retired or are retiring soon. I've known people to retire about my age, more or less, and then they lose their life partner and never get to experience the joy that they worked their whole life for, to spend time together. Sounds like slavery to me, and it feels like it too. I don't know where y'all come from, but I've come through good times, bad times, and I've gone through times where I didn't know what I was going to eat, and I didn't know what I was going to feed my kids. And, you know, it's not good to go to bed hungry. It's not good. It puts you on a survival mode, and it takes years off your life. I came to a conclusion a while back that the only way to stay unmanipulated by the system is not participate in the system to whatever degree that you possibly can. If you can get off the grid, they even say, from what I've read, is, it takes 3, 4, 5 years to get completely off the grid. If you go completely off the grid, you're still on there for a while. You still know where you're at. Somehow, some way, you're going to be on the grid more than likely in this life. And I've heard the term circuit board Earth. And when you look at it, it looks like it is. It looks like it is, with players in their matrix running back and forth, producing what? Energy, power for who knows what, maybe another race that's feeding off our energy. I don't know. We don't know. There's no answer. There's only suppositions, and I've never really been into sci-fi or anything like this. This is very unusual to come from me because I never really even thought about it too much. I just accepted the narrative. But maybe the time of the global empire is coming to an end. Maybe the time that the veil is lifting is for the salvation of our children. We need to know what's going on and how to provide for our children and how to provide for the next generation and not leave them in such turmoil and catastrophe, as I see that we're heading and have been for some time. The timeline. Back to the timeline. The reset timeline. Alternative ancient history. Question the narrative. I'm thinking maybe the whole world's 6,000 years old. I don't know. Or at least civilization as we know it. We talk about man, flood, fire, the mud flood. After the mud flood came the inheritors. Okay. I've got a lot written here. I'm even talking about Hermes. I don't even know. The Emerald Tablet. These are things we're going to talk about in another video. Oh, people. There's so much to learn. And I'm so excited about learning, and I appreciate your time so much for tuning in with me. I want to say one thing before I close this particular video, that I want to say hello to the truth seekers. I want to let you know that my name is Siobhan Bixel. I am an outlaw artist. I'm a street investigator. I want to welcome you to my channel, Beneath the Streets Research. I want you to know beyond a doubt that this is a safe place to dive deep into the rabbit holes. We are going to question the historical narratives that we have been programmed into believing. Join me, won't you, on our next exploration. Thank you so much for your time. I love you guys. Please like and subscribe. Please leave me a comment. I'll be sure and answer. Mwah. Thank you. Well, that was long.